Hey everyone, Maury Curtis Dunbar here. Welcome back to Painted Studio. It is Wednesday evening. It's chilly out. We're zooming into cold weather. Sorry, I put my foot on something. I have no idea what I'm stepping on, but I don't think it's trying to call me as I was trying to do a live, so hopefully that won't happen again. All right, so we have some fun things to share today. First of all, we have our contest. So contest is still going on. Tell me your funniest painting related story. Please go to last Saturday's post. You'll see a contest post. Please go and check that. Put your funniest story in there. And we're going to put together a great prize worth about $75 that includes cutouts, some foils, and some other fun stuff. So definitely check out the contest. So we're going to move into a couple other things now. We brought in some brand new glitters here for everybody. I haven't brought in any new glitters in a couple years because we had so many other colors, but I got a chance to bring in some new ones, so we have got gorgeous new colors coming in. So we have right now, this is our brand new Beach House Blue. This is Bubblegum Pink. We have Teal, Fuchsia, and this is a super fine glitter. A couple of these are really fine. So the fuchsia is going to be really fine. I think it's a little finer than the Beach House Blue. You can see how tiny those particles are. Why do messages keep showing up? Okay, and then we have oversized glitter in Passion, which is a dark pink. We have oversized in Lagoon. Look at that gorgeous tealy color, and that's oversized glitter. We have Shamrock Green. We have Daffodil Yellow. We have a Peridot Green. Look how pretty that is. Gosh, that's so pretty. We have this color we call Tangelo. It's like a neon orange. And Blossom Pink. Look how pretty these new colors are. And I have them all priced out. I just have to put them on the website. They will be up this evening. There's a lot of them, so I have to do it at home later this evening. And I will do that. But they're all running at $4.95. These are 2-ounce jars by volume. They run $4.95 a piece. All of them are priced the same, so they won't be hard for you to figure out the pricing. All right, so we got some new molds today, and we're going to play with making some love charms. Now, what are love charms? There's no witchcraft, no spell casting. That's not who I am. But I found out that there are a whole bunch of wonderful dried flowers that inspire love, are associated with love, have a love interest. And as we're moving into Valentine's Day, why wouldn't that be something we'd want to do? So I ducked over to Michael's and we got a bunch of molds. Now we're going to also discuss the different kinds of molds. Oh, sorry, I got to reach where everything's are. Okay. So I stopped over at Michael's and they have all these cute little molds made out of silicone. This is a lollipop mold, but they also have molds made for resin casting like this. Now, what are the differences between these? First of all, this is obviously food grade, but what happens is if you look in here, this surface is shiny, which means you're going to get a glossy finish on your epoxy. These are not. So you're going to get a slightly frosted look. It's not good, it's not bad, it is what it is. If you don't like that frosted look, we will find, we have a product coming in to remove the frostiness on things, and we'll show you how that's going to work later on. We just have to get the product in. I can't show it to you if I don't have it yet. Hey kiddo, would you hand me, my son's here with me, so that's the hey kiddo. Hey kiddo, would you hand me your candle holder? No, candle. Thank you. So the other day, and we're going to do some of this today because the other day you saw me pouring into this skull mold. I told you it's a candle holder. This is the center part where the candle goes. And I promised to show you yesterday how it came out and I forgot. So again, this is a soap mold, so it's not shiny inside. So when you release stuff, it's not going to be glossy. That's not always a bad thing. So this is the candle holder that I made for my son. This is one for his birthday. I'm making him another one. First of all, look how cool that is. It doesn't have to be glossy to look amazing, but if you want it glossy, we'll have our new coating system to make castings out of these kinds of molds be shiny. All right, so we're going to pour a bunch of stuff today, including another one of those skulls because I promised my son I would. So let me pull out a couple cups. We're going to mix some epoxy up. And we're going to flip the camera down and we're going to go from there. I keep getting messages through and I honestly turn my messages off and they keep coming on. All right, first thing, of course, I've got to do is put on gloves and take my watch off. Because we all know I'm really, really good at dipping my watch in things. Now, again, today we're using art resin. You could also use our liquid glass. Why am I using art resin? Because I have this big jug that I'm almost used up, so that's why I'm choosing that one today. Personally, I find art resin dries a little harder, cures a little harder, a little faster. The liquid glass cures a little harder, a little faster, whereas the liquid glass tends to be, the art resin tends to be a little more flexible, but they are both excellent products. All right, so these are 50-50 pours, meaning they are dead equal or 1-to-1. And this is a generous mixing because we have a lot of molds to fill. Now, if I needed to fill only this mold, to figure out exactly how much I need, I would fill it with water, pour it into a measuring cup, and that would tell me exactly how much I needed. And then I always mix a little more. Before I pour anything else, I gotta remember, after I do this, to spray all of my molds with the mold release spray. Let's see something here. Yep. There's moments, every once in a while I have moments forgetting which half I poured and don't want to waste product. So I'm going to pour out almost everything in this container. As you're doing this, your containers should be like dead even when you're pouring. Now mine always end up slightly off, but by, half an ounce out of a gallon. Actually, it's not even that one. These two are dead even, so I'm good. All right, so I've poured this. And I poured a little too much, so I need a little more hardener. Nothing new. Except the bottle's almost empty, so this is going to take a second. I emptied the other bottle, now I just got to empty this one. And there we go. So you really do need to make it even, because if it's not, you get too much hardener and not enough resin, your product sets up super fast and becomes really, really stiff. If you set up, hang on just a sec. Needed a couple bigger mixing sticks. If you set up with too much resin and not enough hardener, your epoxy actually never cures properly. So again, we're going to pour the two together. And we're going to mix well. You don't want to leave behind anything from one container and not get it into the other, because then you're not even. All right, so I've got that mixed up. I'm going to set that cup to the side, and we're going to start to stir it. Now, don't stir it like this because you hope to prevent the bubbles. Don't sweat that. That's more work than it's worth. You need to stir aggressively to really get this mixed well. You want to scrape the sides, you want to scrape the bottom, you want to mix it all together, because if you don't, you won't have it cure properly. Okay, so the first thing we're going to pour is the skull. Now, most of these containers will tell you stir 2 minutes. So the answer to how long do you mix this is until you think it's good enough, and then stir twice as long. Because if it's not well mixed, you're not going to have good results. And you don't stick a squirrel mixer in here and try to mix it that way. Don't use a drill bit mixer or anything like that. You'll just coat the thing and it's messier than you want it to be. You just stir it. When you're doing small pourings, just stir it by hand. Okay, so we're good with that now. I'm gonna take a couple colors. I decided this time we're gonna do it with little Dixie cups, because the plastic cups were just getting to be a pain in the neck to work with. So we're gonna do some Dixie cup pour here. Okay. So now my son, I have my pigments down next to me on the floor just so they're not all over the table. The first thing we're going to do, and this is just generic black epoxy colorant that I picked up off of Amazon, and I'm going to put a little bit of that in there. Now, don't go too crazy. Black and whites tend to like to swallow up other colors, so you don't need a lot of pigment. As you can see, I made that black with just a couple of drops in my epoxy resin. And my son said he wanted purple. Do you want purple and green, or purple and what else? What other color do you want? I'm asking him right now. He's right across the way from me.
I think the purple and green would work.
Okay. All right, so we're going to do a little different green than we did on the other one. We're going to use apple green instead of the seafoam green, so it'll be a little brighter green than that, but still be really perfect with this look. And then we're going to use Mountain Mist purple. Okay, so we're going to take a couple of scoops here. It's about a 1/4 teaspoon per an ounce, so you got about 1.5 ounces in there, so the color mixture is just right. There we go. And of course, put the lid back on. These are our art resin, or resin art metallic epoxy pigments. They only dissolve in epoxy. Don't try to use them in water-based products. You won't get a very good result. This color is Mountain Mist. Look how pretty that is, that sparkly purple. Okay, put the lid back on that. And then I'm going to show you how I got that cool skull. Okay, so the first thing, I'm going to set this to the side for a second. First thing you have to do with your mold is spray mold release in it. I'm going to take it to the side and spray it a little more generously. Because if you don't spray it well, it doesn't release well. All right. So we're going to let that sit for just a second. And I'm going to spray a couple other molds. So maybe we'll do a little love tokens on our hearts. And shall we do some roses or some lip lolly? I think we'll do a few roses, heart lollipops. Sorry, I'm babbling. So I got that one sprayed, and then, oh yes, we have big molds too. Let's do a flower here. So I'm gonna spray the mold. There we go. All the molds are sprayed. Now, normally I would do that outside, not on camera. We don't really need that here going on right now, but that's what we got. All right, so we're gonna pour a little of this in. There we go. Then we pour some green in. And I'm not trying for layers so much because the weight of this will shift every time I torch it. The pigments all have different weights, so they kind of intermix differently. I'm going to take my torch, and I'm going to go in here and just lightly torch the whole thing because I want that to liquefy and shift up a few bubbles. There we go. All right, I'll pour a little black here. Pour a little black there. And this will look completely different than the way I'm pouring it when it's done. This stuff all kind of has a mind of its own, and we'll have some different levels raised. And I'm going to pour a little clear in too, so you might get a little extra translucency in this. Okay, so we got that done. We're going to let this torch a little bit. And you can see just from the torching that it's sort of blooming in there a little bit with it. Let me see if I can zoom in with my gloves on so you can see what I'm doing a little closer. Let's see if I can get the light down there a little better. And all that's doing is raising those little foam bubbles up so I get a clearer cast, smoother casting. I do a lot of pouring like this where I have no idea how it's going to come out. I just kind of free pour and dribble stuff in. And that's exactly how I did that other skull. Let's put a little more in here. The last of the purple. We're almost done filling this. And then this will sit and cure and be ready to be out of its mold tomorrow. And I will come back and torch this a couple of times because as it sits, more bubbles will raise up in here. So I'm going to want to make sure that I've got as many bubbles out, because even if it's not crystal clear, you still want a nice bubble-free casting if you can get it. Now, you don't have to just use resins in these molds. Obviously, these are soap and candy and food and all kinds of stuff like that. The molds are used for all of that stuff. Paper clay, if you like to make adornments for furniture, that's what this is great for. All right, so I've got to let that, now I'm going to take this carefully and set it to the side. And it's like moving a very full soup bowl of very slimy stuff that I'm going to be very unhappy if I spill things in. Okay, so now we did, let's see, we've got our little lollipops. And I'm just going to try a couple of different things. I have no idea how this is going to go. So I've got lollipop sticks. I have long ones, I have short ones. Let's do this with a short stick. It might be a little easier on me. So for these, I'm going to cast them clear, but we're going to put in different little love flowers. So over here, I have this bag of dried flowers that I picked up on Amazon. It wasn't expensive at all. And so each one of these, and gosh, it smells so good too. Just the bag smells amazing. I think I got to take my gloves off for this for a second because I cannot get a grip on the bag with them on. I don't know if I have to cut this or not, because clearly I did not open this before going live. There's my knife. Come on, gotta get it open. I know it's not on camera, but I have this huge bag of dried flowers in front of me that I've got to cut open so we can use them. So here's all these wonderful dried flowers. All right, come on, open up. I love things that have Ziplocs on them, but then the bag is sealed so that the Ziploc is useless. Forget it, I'm just cutting it open. So we have, let's see, we have chrysanthemums, and we have wormwood, and what are these? Calendula, and lavender, and rose petals, and all these wonderful jasmine flowers. I mean, think of how pretty we can make some of these. So for the little molds, we need littler flowers. So obviously something like a chrysanthemum wouldn't work, but some jasmine flowers would. Maybe a little lavender sprinkled in. Some rose buds might work, or rose petals. What have we got here? That's Sephora flower. This is red plum flowers. This is lily petals. So I'm looking for small flowers that will fit in there, and here we go. We've got some peonies and some rosebuds. So we're gonna play with all kinds of wonderful things here, and we're just gonna sprinkle them in molds and then cast resin with them. So the first thing that has to happen is I need to put on some gloves again, and we're gonna pour a little bit of epoxy in here so that we can then place the flowers in it. I'm going to try to do this with only one hand and a glove, because otherwise it's going to be, I'm not going to be able to get into the bags of flowers, although I should probably, great, these all have that stupid sealed stuff on it, so I can't open them. Oh, let me grab a scissor. I love when this, nothing like going live without having opened stuff up and checked these things out, huh? Okay, let's see if that's gonna let me in this bag. Well, I'm not gonna play with this forever on this, trying to do this with you all. I'm just gonna cut a little opening and then maybe shake a little bit of petals out right here. Because these are small, so I don't have to worry about that too much. There's the lily. Here's a little lavender. Let's move these out of the way so I can kind of create little piles. Okay, that's the lavender. There's the lily out of the way. Let's put in some jasmine blossoms. No, these all really just smell amazing on their own. And it smells like the most wonderful of herbal teas. And let's get, where did my little blossoms go? Now these are just going to be ornaments. These are not, obviously not food. They're just little decorations so that maybe if you send somebody some flowers on Valentine's Day, you can throw a couple of these, you know, take one of these and stick it in the flower arrangement or something wonderful like that. That's not the one I wanted. What have I got over here? Oh, yes, we have some forget-me-nots, which are so pretty and blue. Let's see if I can get that open now. Now I can do these all one flower, or I can mix them up, whichever I want, but this is so pretty to do this. And it keeps the flowers perfectly preserved. Alrighty, so the first thing I'm going to do is put a little bit in each cup, or each opening. There we go. Now I've got that in. I'm going to take my torch just because I want to raise any bubbles out. Plus making it a little extra liquidy. Maybe I should take that out of right being in the middle of all that. Making it a little extra liquidy makes these things settle into it a little better. Let's pull some of these petals off. I don't need to have it all just kind of making a mess. A little forget-me-not in there on this one. Let's put a little jasmine flower in there. And then let's see, let's do a little lavender. And maybe a few rosebuds. Now, I'm sure you've seen artisanal lollipops that look very similar to this, and that's kind of what we're creating. Okay. And let's see, put a little more in here, just because that looked a little Spartan. There. And we can grab a little more jasmine flowers and a little more lily petals. And then just put, the one thing you don't want to do is have the dried flowers exposed when you have to torch it, because they'll burn. So you have to make sure your dried flowers are completely buried. Okay, so I can put a little more petal goodness in there, and a little more of this. And maybe I'll throw a forget-me-not in there because I can. got that mostly poured. Now I just got this last little one to do. Let's get some more lavender and maybe throw a jasmine flower or two in there. Jasmine blossom. We're going to get them all in. Make sure there's enough epoxy. Okay. All right, so I've done all that, and then I'm going to take my torch, lightly torch the surface, because you can see it wants to burn the flowers if you're not careful. I gotta watch that. I don't want to burn my flowers. I want them to be part of the finish, or part of the project. There we go. A little more. There we go. Now you can see I'm coming much further back from this with my flame than I might with something else, because I'm trying really hard not to set my flowers on fire. This is one of the games that happens when you do these things. All right, so we're gonna slide a popsicle stick into each one. Where did my bag of sticks go? And the epoxy will glue the stick into this form and give you these cute little resin lolly ornaments, little love charms. All right, so we're gonna set that to the side, and we're gonna make sure that all of the sticks stay propped. Okay. Give me just a second, because I have to move this to another spot on the table. And the sticks may go flying out. That won't surprise me. Right. I did have a stick go flying, so I've got to go find it and then stick it back in the lollipop. You find some stuff to sort of prop the sticks up. Just grab a couple pens and put them under the end so they sit level like that.
What under what?
Watch me. Like that.
Oh, like so?
Yep. So what we've done, and you can't see it right now, is that we've taken the lollipop sticks and actually applied, put a pen under each of the sticks so that the sticks will sit level in the mold and not fall apart. Oops, I just shed flowers all over this mold. All right, so we're gonna pour a couple of these. I don't know, I think we'll just probably pour one, because I'm not gonna have much more epoxy. Well, I could probably get two. So let's do this one too. I think I've got enough epoxy to do two of these. And again, we're just going to place, first we're going to torch in here to raise the bubbles. And again, this is a food mold, so it's going to likely come out frosty. You're not going to see this super clear when it cures. We will fix that later. All right, let's take some bigger blossoms and throw them in there. Let's take some of our chrysanthemums and some of our peony blossoms and use those. Now you could just put a single flower in here. A single preserved flower would work just as well. Let's put that face up, that's face. I can't tell which way is the stem and which way is the face. There's the face down. Okay. I want to make sure I put it facing the right way because they're so pretty. I don't want to lose them from that. These are red plums. And again, all of these flowers have romantic love associations, mystical love powers, all of that sort of thing, which I think, quite frankly, we could use a little more love. So look at these. These are so cute. These are the plum blossoms. They look a little like clover. Oh, these are pretty. Oh, I like these. These are going to look very pretty in here. So pour that in. Then we're going to pour a little more epoxy. We're not going to crowd this too much, but we will put in more. I just want this to be flowers filled with flowers. So let's put some of the forget-me-nots in here. And let's put some lilies in here. Little forget-me-nots in there. And let's sprinkle, let's see what else have we got over here that's pretty. Oh, we have peach blossom. That would be very pretty to use. I have a big old bag of hibiscus blossoms too. So you see, I'm just sprinkling these in, but again, they're going to have to be completely covered because I don't want to burn my flowers when I torch this. Now, if I wanted to, I could make this glittery. I could add some, you know, some glitter or some mica into this to make it even a little more sparkly. But I think today we're just going to stay with casting the flowers. And really, these are just little love tokens, little love charms, little love gifts, so to speak. All these flowers have love associations, so that's what the point of them is. Let's get this all in here. Are going to come out so pretty, and these will be just, you know, little paperweights, little decorative objects. All right, so again, I've got to torch this from behind because I'm trying not to set my flowers on fire. And I'll let it sit. I'll come back and do it again. I'm going to torch my skull that's over here a little bit again because a lot of bubbles just raised up. And it smells wonderful in here as I'm working with these. It smells like a flower shop and an herbalist at the same time. Okay, let's see. All right, so we're gonna let these sit and dry, and we're going, or cure up for tomorrow, and let's come back here. I'll see if you had any questions. Would it be better to get something to push it down? No, the flowers, they can be pushed down. You can do whatever you want to them. I'm not trying to push them down. I'm just allowing the weight of the epoxy to do itself. And I don't want to shove them all down to the bottom. I want to have them sort of floating all the way through. So some of this is going to be lighter than the epoxy. Some of it's going to be heavier. Let's see how we doing. Rosario, nice to see you with us. Sorry about that. I clicked something, almost froze the screen up. Kathy Brown, nice to see everybody. Gosh, you all are so great for sticking with me. And Terry, nice to see you here. So we've had a lot of people pop on. We're down to just a few right now as we finish up the live. We're done for the day. It's late. I know you need to get home and do other things, so thank you for spending part of your evening with me. We'll unmold these tomorrow, and we'll talk about what the next steps will be. And we're going to start some big old furniture projects soon. All right, everybody. Talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.